Hi, I'm Ben. Thanks for watching. Now this tip is about two requests I've had. One from David. I think he has bought a large RAM and he was wanting to know where he could get the steel, where I got my steel for my RAM. Two is I've had a request about the vibrations on my homemade milling machine, how I was able to counteract all the vibrations, and here they are. Well, now David, my first press was a big screw press, a bench one. I'll show it later in the tape. The steel I got for this my power press was a workmate got a shade, an offer of a shade. It was from a family friend for to pull it down. All the materials was his. I don't know whether it was a hay shade or what, but he had it down. He knew I was looking for gear to build a power press. So he told me to come out to his yard. I seen it all piled up. He told me to take what I needed, and this is how I got my steel. And I'm grateful to him. The man is no longer with us now. May the man above be kind to him. Now, David, I got the steel. I think it was before I started to make tapes. Otherwise, I would have had a tape on building it. But I've used it in quite a few tapes. That's how you probably have seen the steel. And I hope I can help in some way. I said I would show the hand bench press that I put together. The actual press with the screw extended stood about 3 foot, and it served me for the best part of 7, 8 years, maybe 9, before I got my power press together, and we'll start with that. Now this is the press, the hand press that I said I would show. This is the screw that I was able to screw down into it. This is it. This is 1.5 inch width. I made this screw for it. This is the table. These were hard steel. These pins for to hold the table. They are hardened steel. Now this is the press. Now that is my hand press that I put together. I welded it all up, made the screw and that for it, and it served me well for 8 to 10 years until my workmate was kind enough to let me have the steel for to put together for my power press. But my hand press, I gave it to one of my sons, and he still uses it, and it's there if I ever need to get pulled out in any way. I can just nip out and use it. So let's go to the details of my power press. Now this is my power press. It's down 6'6". I'll give you all the dimensions now in a moment, David. As you see, I'm a Ford man. I keep my compressor just as wheels up onto it and wheels off easy when I'm using it. Now David, the dimensions, now this angle is 3.5 by 2, and the uprights are 2.5 by 5, and it's good heavy angle, and I have the holes evenly spaced. I can move my table up and down when I need it. This is for a job that I'm setting up for it. I can shift these and use just whatever ones I need on the press. Right, David, I would imagine even when I got it given to me, it would have been pretty expensive, but today's prices, I would think you're talking big money for good steel like this. Now, my best bet would be to go around a few scrap yards. Even car scrap yards keeps scrap at times. And if your press is heavy, you're going to need good heavy steel for to do a good job. Now David, I know steel is out of all buying at the moment, but as I say, if you go around a few scrap yards, I used to build a few trailers in the years gone by and sell them, but the angle then, and the angle iron, and it was dear enough, but today I wouldn't even attempt them. Now, as I say, I was lucky enough, these is a lot of offcuts in the job I was in. We were doing heavy work. I was a maintenance man at that time, and a lot of these is offcuts, and I didn't have to buy them like this, thankfully. But a press is very, very useful, and this one, I can put casters on it. I can wheel it out when I want to do heavy work. Now, I've only got these light casters on it, but I'm about to change those. Luckily enough, I fell in with these a few weeks back at a flea market. Or they're maybe not 100%, but they're strong enough, and they'll do my press. So I have that to change on it. Now this ram, David, you probably wouldn't mind it, maybe you do, but quite a few years back, and going back a lot of years, when the snow came in the winter time, there used to be snow plows in the front of the lorries. And in the firm I was in, we had two or three plows, but there was a ram with each one. They went onto the front of the lorries for the snow, and in the years past they didn't need it anymore, So this lay in our store for quite a few years. And I said to the manager one day about it, he said, if you can make use of it, it's yours. So that's how I got my ram. I have 10 ton wrote on it. I was assured it was a lot heavier work than 10 ton, but 10 ton suits me. And that is my ram. Just keep it jack on the fluid, and it's a good, strong, solid ram. That's my oil for my compressor, etc. Now, just for handiness, I have these 2 screws. I just keep these on for handiness, and a couple of these dividers which I just reach for when I need. Now my rules, I have 6 inch, 12 inch, 18 inch, 24 and a metre 40 inch. Now the shop I bought them the metre one in, the 40 inch. Before, a week before it, he was telling me he had 3 4-foot 48 inch rules, and the person he showed them to bought all 3 of them. I would have liked one of those for a 4-foot, but we'll maybe get there sometime. They're just for handiness and working at the drill or the bench or anything. Just reach out and get them. Those are my different grease guns. Now this table, I have 2 bolts through the spacers, keeps it nice and steady. But thankfully it's not those bolts that's taking the weight, it's these. Now David, this is my power press. And hopefully the details might be of some help. Now David, that is my power press and where I got my steel. It's good heavy stuff. But today my best bet would be go around a few scrap yards. Or in a few years back I've seen me falling in with angle iron in car scrap yards. But I wish you all the best, and I hope this has been of some help to you. So I go on now to my milling machine. Now Stephen was asking me about the vibrations on my homemade mill. Now this is my mill in question. I will go into it in detail. This is it. Now Stephen, before I start, I have done most of this here work on my homemade mill. I've done maybe a third or maybe a wee bit more than a third on my 3-in-1 mill, but I done most of this and done all these on my homemade mill. As you see, it does a fair decent job. Well, Stephen, that is my mill. I don't know whether Stephen is building his own mill or getting vibrations on a mill, but I hope this can help in some way, Stephen. I will go into detail on my mill and what I did for to stop all vibrations. Now, Stephen, this is it. My mill, my homemade mill. I had this mill quite a while before I bought my 3-in-1. That's why I have so much stuff made on it. Now, Stephen, the weight has a lot to do with the vibes in this. This is 15 by 18 inch and a quarter solid plate. That in itself is a fair weight. This, so it is. This is one of the bases of it, is the weight. So Stephen, now this is my mill. Now I had box section on here at a time when I first put it together, but I got a slight vibration and I blamed that on it. And the box section, the size of it, now this is the size of box section I had on it. I thought it was heavy enough to do the job, but I blamed that for a little vibration I was getting. So I came up with this. This is in 3 stages. This bolted on, and this one is bolted in to this. This one bolted in first, then this was bolted in here, and then I was able to bolt this one on, which keeps it. Now look at that, not a movement in that. That is very, very steady. But the weight behind it has a lot to do with this. Now, this shaft onto this base, I spent a couple of days sorting this out, getting it just, I think it's maybe 1 thou larger. It took a lot of pressing with the heavy press to get it down in. I had to keep it true. 4 bolts onto the base plate. For to keep it true, it was a difficult job. Then I tack welded, got it all checked again and welded it. Now, I'll show it going now in a moment. Now this compound slide. This is off a lathe that where we had it work. It was scrapped, lying out for maybe 6 months. So I inquired about this. They told me to go ahead with it, take it. It was made in Glasgow. The date on it was Glasgow 1902. And there's very, very little wear and either movement. It's a good large one which came in handy for me. Now the table, that was a large piece of offcut, and a mate that I knew, and he's no longer with us, had a milling machine. Let me use it one weekend I think spent from Friday evening all day Saturday, all day Sunday till I got it done. It was a large Cincinnati. And I made this, I bought this here as a unit, and I made the vise. I have it done 3 Morse 3 taper for my collets to draw them up. I have a complete set of collets, metric and imperial. Now let's see it going. Now the light is very loose, so ignore the shaking. Look at that. Ignore the shaking in the light. Not a movement in that. Look at that. When I'm milling, these stays in place. Plus this one, not a movement. Or speed. The only disappointment I have at the moment is automatic feed. I don't have automatic feed on it. I have a few of these made for holding work down, also different sized ones, spacers. Now the weight that it is carrying, look at that. That all adds to the stability of my mill. My table, this was a saw table one of my sons had, and he let me have it, and it is a great little bench. Definitely could not fill that bench, and it carries the weight. Now, this is only one job I did on it. The dovetails, the lot. I am pleased with the work that I can do on it for a homemade milling machine. I couldn't fall out with that. For steadiness, look at that. No chance in moving it. It will take a forklift. As I say, this base plate, 18 inch, 15 inch, inch and a quarter thick. Look at the weight that's on that plate alone. I am pleased with the work that I have done on it over the years. Now Stephen, this screw is 12 inches. I can bring it up this, or I can bring it right down, and it gives me quite a nice bit of height for to work with. Now this shaft is 2 inches, and this one for the base, onto the base plate, this part of it, 4 inches, and down here that I turned it down to get this lip. This was just over 6 inch. So, and I'm getting it pressed in. It took a lot of pressing to do it. But this is the distance I can travel it up and down, which gives me the extra. I'll just put this light on, that's it. And I made these are stapled. There's 3 screws holding that with grease nipples. And the top one, this top one, that's carrying the screw. The weight has a lot to do with it. That is 2 inch, 4 inch, 6 inch. And this is carrying it. There's 3 screws in it also onto the shaft. I would love automatic feed. Maybe I'll come up with a small motor or something and try it. Well Stephen, now that is my milling machine. But I am pleased with it. The work that I have done on it over the years, I have no complaints. But I don't know whether you're contemplating building your own milling machine, or whether you have a milling machine on a bench. If you're thinking of building your own, go for it. If it's on a bench, or a milling machine on a bench, you maybe need a heavier, stronger bench with a few shells carrying a bit of weight. It should hopefully work itself out. I hope this has been of some interest to you and some help. I want to thank you for looking in. Any of you that liked it, press the like button. Go to my website, Benny Marner. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.